Studios. Joining us now, Josh Hazel, the president of the Mississippi chapter of the Tesla Owners Club. Good morning, Josh. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, good morning, Gerard. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, so we wanted to have you on to talk about a couple of measures that are being considered in the Mississippi House, one in the Mississippi House, one in the Mississippi Senate, I believe, that could impact Mississippians with respect to Tesla specifically and in its business model. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. And I think it's targeted at Tesla right now, but it opens the floodgates for other manufacturers in the same boat down the road.
Sure.
You've got Lucid and other manufacturers that want to follow that same model. So it would ultimately affect them as well. But the two measures that are out there, Senate Bill 2836 and House Bill 833, what they're trying to do is eliminate manufacturers from direct sales in the state of Mississippi, which Tesla doesn't have franchises, doesn't have dealerships, doesn't follow that model. They sell direct to the consumer, just like you would order your iPhone. Go on, order your iPhone, pick it up at the store, have it shipped to you, whichever.
Yep.
That's the Tesla sales model, and so the dealership association for the state's trying to block that and take that away.
And what's the rationale for that, Josh?
Well, we hear different things. There's different rumors out there. We can't get straight answers on why, but the gist of it is the dealerships trying to protect their territory. For years now, the legacy auto manufacturers have not taken electric vehicles very serious, and now that Tesla's kind of paved the way and shown that it's a viable product and there's a high demand for it. All the manufacturers are coming on board. I mean, everybody's announcing, electric vehicles and lineups, and some are rolling off the assembly lines now. So they're all coming on board with that. But Tesla is years ahead of them. So, the idea now is to throw as many stumbling blocks in front of Tesla as possible to slow them down. Well,
I think the thing that concerns me is that maybe, as you said, Josh, today, this is targeted at Tesla, which is probably the manufacturer of motor vehicles that most is engaged in this direct selling approach. But I don't think they're going to be the last. I think we've got, especially as this transition to electric vehicles, that we could certainly debate, as we have many times discussed on the show here, the rate at which that should occur, but the fact is it's occurring, and it ain't going away.
Right.
Every major manufacturer on the planet has pretty much disclosed its plans to transition different time frames, if you will, different levels of investment, but I can't think of a single one that said, no, we're just not going to play in the EV market. But I think that just in itself is an indicator of how much this industry is being disrupted. And direct sales to consumers from the manufacturer, thereby bypassing a so-called middleman, a dealer. If that's the business model these manufacturers want to employ, the market will determine whether or not that's viable. And that's the way it ought to be, in my view. So it sounds to me like we've got government intervening in the market here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very anti-free market. You're taking away consumer choice and you're eliminating. This is where we have almost 1,000 Tesla owners in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
And you're taking away, potential service centers. That's where we go to get parts or go to get our vehicles serviced, and where folks can go to test drive vehicles and things of that nature. So you're taking that away. The dealership model designed to prevent the legacy manufacturers from competing with local franchises.
Right.
And that's all fine, but Tesla doesn't have local franchises, so it really shouldn't. It shouldn't apply to them in the first place. So it makes no sense. It's very anti-free market.
Yeah. Again, the thing that kind of sticks in my head, just having watched disruption, coming from the technology industry where we made a living disrupting, honestly, but in a good way. you can make all the laws you want here. You're not going to stop this freight train from going downhill. This is just temporary.
Yeah. Yeah, and before we got the service center and the delivery center in Mississippi up in Pearl, we'd have to go out of state to purchase a vehicle. You're still going to buy the vehicles. You're just going to have to. It's going to be more of an inconvenience for the consumer. Our first Tesla we bought in 2017, we had to go to Atlanta to pick it up. And now we're able to get it in Jackson, pick it up in Jackson, and hopefully more stores and more locations in the future. But yeah, it's certainly meant to be an inconvenience for consumers and really try to slow Tesla down so the legacy manufacturers can catch up with their electric vehicles. I
mean, I understand that. I got to tell you, without digging too far into it, it just sounds like protectionism to me, and that's concerning. And I also think about, I think it's no secret, Elon Musk, Tesla, they've got fairly aggressive plans to continue to expand their manufacturing footprint. And it ain't just electric vehicles. There's a lot of other stuff he's got on the boards as well. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense for us to be a little bit more business-friendly state so as to hopefully land some investment on the company's part into the Magnolia State that would hire knowledge workers and boost our economy as it would. We're sort of shunning him here, sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the dealership and the showroom and such is just one facet. They've got 7 supercharger locations that they've invested in throughout the state, the infrastructure. And then, the EV jobs, EV skills are the skills of the future in the auto manufacturing industry. So, Tesla's leading that edge. So education-wise, you're training workers, the workforce for the future. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense to eliminate that from our state. And like you mentioned, the other potential options, I mean, it'd be great to have a battery facility or some kind of, research and development facility or a factory or something. They are growing by leaps and bounds. So we've got a lot of real estate in the state of Mississippi. It'd be great to open that up for that kind of business for the future.
There are some in the investment community that, of course, track the company, and as they should. It's a stock that's traded to a great degree of volume, and there's some who say that he will generate more from SpaceX than he is the automobile industry. That's really the diamond in the rough, if you will. Gosh, how great would it be to have some sort of SpaceX facilities? I'm only saying that because I think that Elon Musk is a person that likes to put his places investments where he feels like the states and the communities are friendly to his business. Duh. I think that's the way we all are. I don't want to get on the blacklist here, I guess is what I'm saying, and this doesn't sound like a good move. So where do you think this is going, this legislation? And my understanding is they're both in committee, right? Today's the day.
Yep, today's the day. So the Senate bill is in the Finance Committee, and the House bill is in the Ways and Means Committee. So I've not seen any updates on it today, but I think, today's the day. Okay.
What are you hearing anything? I know you represent the owners in the state of Mississippi. Are you in contact with Tesla management? Are you hearing anything from them? What are they saying about this?
They're concerned. It's not this will be the first state where they've had the ability to sell directly to consumers, and that would have been taken away. Okay. So that's a slippery slope, and that's a concern.
I got you. Interesting. Well, I'm searching for the rationale. I mean, if there's a sound, solid business reason behind this, let's hear it and let's talk through it and figure out what is in the best interest of the consumers in the state of Mississippi, and not hopefully we're not playing favorites here with respect to business organizations. I think most Mississippians would oppose that. So let's get to the bottom of this, and we'll be watching this as well. And Josh, appreciate you coming on today. This is something we really got to pay attention to. Your business could be next. That's the fear I have here. So
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Josh Hazel, president of the Mississippi chapter of the Tesla Owners Club, has been our guest on Middays. We'll take a break and come right back.